Welcome to my corner of the internet. I'm the house hacker, and today I want to talk to you about budgeting, or more specifically, why I don't budget. Whoa. All right, slow down, guys. Give me a chance to explain. But first, let's define budgeting. When we say budgeting, I'm talking about preemptively defining how much you are going to spend for a given month by category. Now, I'm going to first cover my issues with budgeting, and then I'm going to propose an alternative that I've used personally. And this is what this channel is all about. It's about providing you with alternatives so you can make the best choice from the various options available to you. All right, so let's dive right into this. My first issue with budgeting is it's a lot like calorie counting. It's very constraining. I mean, it definitely feels like you're constricted in what you can do, and things can change, and it feels like such a rigid approach take. And I feel like there's also a psychological factor there that forces you to feel like it almost puts you in this mindset of scarcity, which it makes sense. You're in a tough situation. You want to kind of reduce your costs, or I mean, you can get in a budget without being in a tight situation, but it's very constricting. So my solution for you, and I don't really have a name for this solution, I can break it down for you in three different steps. And the third step, it can be broken down in two sub steps. But let's get right into the first step. And the first thing that I would do is what I call an audit. And you can do these however frequently you want, but you should do it immediately before you even start this process. And this is simply to look at what does your spending actually look like. Just look at your past month and break down what's the spending, where's the money going. This kind of gives you an idea of like your lifestyle. And then you can look at patterns throughout the weeks and days of spending. And this brings us to the next step, which is I call it identifying rituals. And these are things that you do repetitively, right? So for example, with me, I eat 2 meals a day. Kind of started that in college when I was struggling with funds. And then I kind of carried it on as I became an adult. And it's like intermittent fasting, and it's great. So my two rituals that I do have in my day is I have my breakfast and I have my dinner. These are consistent. And once you identify those rituals, all of the rituals, you can then break up your spending into two categories. The regular ritualistic spending, and then you can look at the discretionary spending, which I would categorize as something totally separate from. This is kind of like the you know things that come up once in a while. Like, for example, just last week I sent a suit to a tailor to get worked on. That's about $200 to $300 that I'm going to have to spend in discretionary. That's not something I'm going to spend regularly, and I'm likely not going to go back there for months and months after that, maybe even a few years. And finally, step three, cutting. This is when you start cutting down your costs. So, unlike a budget, which is this big commitment that you have to make up front and you're just stuck with my process, what I do is small choices that slowly adjust my spending behavior until I get it to where I want it. So if you notice that you're eating out for lunch every single day and you're looking for a way to cut back on your food spending, well, you could see how, well, instead of eating out, I can just go and get one of those microwavable healthy choice meals, which taste pretty good for a microwavable meal. They're not a bad meal, and they cost $1.50 versus you going and spending $10 on lunch. And those are ways that you can cut back, or you can meal prep and just cook your meals for the entire week, set those aside, and then those meals are ready for you. Those are ways that you can kind of cut back. So the discretionary stuff, that kind of needs to be adjusted at will, but the ritualistic stuff, this kind of requires you to slowly adjust it. So you don't have to repeat the same stuff every single day, but you do need to have a series of alternatives that you can pick from. So for example, my breakfast is I have one of two different types of breakfasts. One is the light one, so if I'm in a rush and I don't have a whole lot of time, I'll get myself a little bit of heart of palm, a banana, and a cup of yogurt. That's a light breakfast, and I will likely eat a lunch if I do that. On the flip side, if I'm going to be staying at home or have some time to eat at home, I'm looking at a little bit of hummus, cup of yogurt, and a banana. And that right there is going to cost me maybe no more than $2 between either one of those to just eat those things. Because I think the banana would be like 30 cents, and the cup of yogurt is probably around like about the same amount. And the hummus and the heart of palm is probably not too far off from that. So you're looking at about $2 in actual costs. At the same time, there's other ritualistic expenses like going to the gas station once a week because you have a commute. Well, you can't really cut back on that. And those are those ritualistic expenses that you can't adjust and you're kind of stuck with. Ultimately, it's your choice which expenses that you want to cut, and you get to do it gradually. And then you conduct a second audit later on down the road, whether it's in 6 months or a year. Once you get this running smoothly in your life, you only really need to look at your finances once a year in terms of spending, because you'll know what it is, because you're spending a consistent amount every single month, and then you have a little bit of discretionary on top of that, and things are just kind of as lean as you want them to be. And you get to refine your lifestyle and your spending slowly until you get it to a place where you're comfortable, because cutting back spending is great, sure, but it's going to affect your lifestyle, and determining where is that balance that you want to strike in order to bring you the greatest satisfaction. You know, life isn't just about saving for retirement. Saving for retirement is important, but being able to enjoy life as it's happening is also important. So that's really the big reason why I don't budget. I just use this method. You could argue that what I'm doing is effectively budgeting. Not really. It doesn't do any of the I don't do any of the traditional stuff that people do when they budget. I don't examine my finances in detail more than once every year. If I notice that my statements come back a little bit higher than normal, that might perk my attention. I might look into it. But for the most part, I have it running like a well-oiled machine, and I don't need to intervene, and things run smoothly. So this is why I don't budget. And that's the alternative that I use. I think it's psychologically less strenuous, and it feels like you're making a whole bunch of small decisions that get you to a much better future, rather than making this huge commitment that just feels like you're constricted and wrapped up into this like system that you already signed up for and you're committed to and you don't really want to back out of. So if you like this video, please like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know what you guys think of these videos, and welcome to the channel for the new subscribers that we have, the 4 that joined the other day. Appreciate it. I'm so excited that we're growing. And share this video. Let other people know about what I'm sharing here and the different alternatives that I'm proposing, so that people have options to kind of define their own future success. So thank you for watching. Take care.